Sometimes when you're confronted with a new worksheet or a worksheet you haven't seen, maybe never, or it's been a long time, you're concerned sometimes with understanding the scope of a worksheet, trying to figure out what's going on. And one of the things that would be really useful would be to see the actual formulas instead of the formula results. Now, you'd like to be able to do that on a cell-by-cell basis, but Excel does have a great feature where you can convert all formulas to actually display them rather than the results. Now, for example, if I happen to click on a cell here, a very simple formula here in cell B10, you can see it in the formula bar, but I might want to see other formulas at the same time. And rather than going to each cell and temporarily turning it into text, which would be really time consuming, there is a nice, fast way to do this. And there's a great keystroke shortcut for it, but you're unlikely to know the keystroke shortcut. It's kind of buried. And you'll notice in C1 are two characters, and they are usually together on the same key on your keyboard. Usually this key is above the tab key, to the left of the number 1 key, and below the escape key. If you hold down Control and hit that key, the symbol on top is usually called tilde. It's the character that we often see above the letter N in certain Spanish words. The other character, sort of a little apostrophe-looking character, is sometimes referred to as accent grave, as is used in certain French letters, usually over E. The point is, hold down Control and hit that key, and the worksheet will change substantially in appearance. The most obvious difference is the column widths have all been doubled, but wherever there are formulas, you see the actual formula instead of the result. So a quick look at cell B7 here shows the formula, but not the answer. Now, fortunately, this control, whatever we want to call it, maybe you call it control tilde, maybe you call it control accent, don't use the shift key. In any case, when you use the same combination again, it toggles back to the regular display. So think of it as a toggle button, a toggle switch. Anytime you hit Control with this other character, you either double the width of all columns and expose formulas, or you return to the normal view. And when it is in this view, note also that other cells with values have the values automatically left aligned, as is the text entries. So it looks a little bit different, but it certainly does no damage, and better yet, it certainly is of value to see those formulas. And here's something else you might consider doing when you're viewing the information like this. I had mentioned that the columns are twice as wide. Now here and there that's handy and helpful, as it might be in column B, but in column A it's not. And what you might want to consider doing here is actually printing this. So if you go to Control F2, that's a quick way for print preview. Control F2, that may or may not be what you want to see. I'm going to click on this to zoom in. But if you were looking at this and wanted to print it, don't overlook the page setup option that allows you on the Sheet tab to show grid lines as well as row and column headings. Now those are often not checked, and so you don't typically see them. But you can see in the background here how, even though that's not super clear, we're not trying to read it, but the columns are twice as wide, and we see formulas wherever they appear, just as we're viewing it on the screen. What you might do to make this a little bit better, click in the upper left corner, double click one of the boundaries between column letters, readjust those column widths again, and then again take a look at your print preview with Control F2. And you'll decide based on other formulas whether that's appropriate or not, but it could serve as a source of documentation. The main point, however, is by choosing this option of simply hitting Control with that other key, you can quickly switch modes. Now, I had readjusted the column width, so we'd want to do this again when it's back in normal view again, probably. Click there, double click here. You can also get to this feature in the ribbon if you click the Formulas tab, and in the Formula Auditing group, you will see Show Formulas. And as you've noted in Excel 2007, if you linger over this feature here, the command Show Formulas, you will see that same keystroke shortcut. Notice how easy it would be to look at that and just sort of read through it and not have it register for you. You can barely see that little symbol out there under Show Formulas, but that's the same feature. I think it's handier with the keystroke shortcut, but you do have it here as well. It certainly is going to give you that handle on a worksheet to figure out what's going on, to expose those formulas.